All right, welcome everybody. Mil-Spec Ops Monkey here. It is Wednesday, St. Patty's Day, 3/17, about 10:30 in the morning Central Standard Time. I'm going to, let me adjust my screen here just a little bit there. First of all, I need to get a mulligan from you guys for yesterday. I got a little sloppy. I was really tired when I jumped on about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I haven't been sleeping really well, mainly due to my wife and her allergies. Telling you, there are noises coming out of that woman in the middle of the night that I think she probably makes more noises than the black guy off of Police Academy. It's just it's insane. And I think over the last 2 nights I felt like I was at a Star Wars event with Darth Vader, and just anyway, hard to sleep and having to use earplugs, and so it's just kind of put me in one of those moods on the lack of sleep thing, and so I got a little sloppy yesterday. Now Sam 963, I was incorrect. So I had been watching the 963 when it was Air Force Two going outbound, actually, and that was with Harris when it went to Vegas and then out to California. And that was this flight here, right? So this is the tail number, and it's going to be 9 triple ball 3, right? Okay, so I was watching that one, and it basically, when I saw it depart yesterday, I was not paying attention to the news cycle, and Jeannie, you're the one that turned me on to that in the chat about her already being out there in Denver. And so I was watching that go outbound, and I saw the C-17 with the T on it, which is usually the transportation, right? And so I'm thinking, all right, well, she's headed to Denver, and she was already there. And so what had happened was there was a maintenance issue, and so that aircraft got left behind while they fixed it, and they took Harris took a little G5 or a C-37, which is a really posh Gulfstream, to Denver. And then from there, they actually flew that same plane back to DC. And so that SAM is out this morning, and it's flying as Venus 93 this morning, which is up. And let me see, I can find it here in a second, but we're going to get into that. There's a couple. I saw the Exec 1 that was up today, and a few others. So we're going to kind of, let me see that. Let me pull that up real fast. So here's where our current count is for this morning. We're at 266. Now I have persistence on, so sorry. Let me back that up. 183. I had persistence on because I was trying to keep tabs. I probably just lost it. Of the Venus aircraft and the Exec 1. Now the Exec 1 is going to be Biden's wife. Okay, so that's First Lady, and that aircraft was up. There it is, right there. Little 737s. You guys can see. I'll pull the picture up for you. But that's going to be it. Okay, and so she's on that one right now. Looked like they basically got back from Delaware this morning, and she just rolled right out. Okay, got on the plane and is headed somewhere. And so. Let me see. I'm looking for the Venus flight. I don't see it anymore. But yeah, let me go over here to my filters and just see. Here's 5-2. There's Venus right there. Okay. So Venus is headed southbound. Probably, we'll keep an eye on that. I don't know where that's going, but it's got a good altitude. No, it's actually descending right now, 14,975. So we'll see where it goes. It may go into Charleston, or, that's kind of low. So maybe into Wilmington. So. No idea who was on that, but that is headed southbound. Now, let's get, just so you guys can see, you'll see this one, all right? And that is your Gitmo 845. That's going to be your base commander. Looks like he's coming back to the stateside this morning. And P8s, we got, I was looking this morning. As you guys look at our board here, make sure you guys can see that. Let me pull it up just a little bit higher. So we have 2 P3s and 5 P8s up this morning, and that's just what's on my screen. It won't show, so that's pretty crazy. So everything that you're seeing over here on my right side is what's on the screen right now. Okay, and so that B06 being red, that's usually, that's kind of weird. I don't know what that is. It's a little Bell helicopter Ranger, Sea Ranger, but normally they're not red. So that's kind of a new color for me. Okay, so in terms of P8, so we have one that's headed southbound now. We have tanker. We have a C-17 looks to be coming out of Patrick. That's probably Patrick Air Force Base. And then multiple P-8s. So it looks like we're getting ready to heat up down here off the coast with these P-8s. So we'll keep an eye on that today. And also I wanted to point out, we do have a Dragon Lady up out here on the West Coast. This can be your U-2. And that one's red as well. Note the altitude, 60,000 feet. That bad dude is, like I said, you guys watched the video on that where we did a little educational stuff. Guy's wearing a spacesuit, and there's a reason for it. So, let's see where he goes. We'll keep an eye on that one too today, just to see if he does any detail work around, this area. If he does his normally they'll get out here and just run a grid, but he's headed southbound right now. So, all right. So here's what I wanted to do this morning, because I was watching a video last night and I tried to post it, and I thought I'm just going to share it and I'm going to talk to it. Okay. I don't know if there are a lot of you, I don't know if I've mentioned this or not, but I've got my level 4 PPO certification here in Texas, and that is basically VIP security, right? And so I'll do security details from time to time, but it's a lot of training, and I work with a bunch of guys that are all former special forces guys and things like that. And so I get to learn a lot off of them, glean a lot off of them, and so I also pick up a lot of things too. So when I'm watching some of these videos, because I do my own videos and I understand how all the software works and green screens and CGI and everything else. Now, I'm not an expert at that by any means, but I'm a little seasoned on it because I do my own stuff. And so I want to show you guys this video, and I want to point out a few things because it's amazing. Now, most of you have probably seen this, but let's go into it. It's going to pull up straight up on your screen because I've got it loaded into my scenes. Fingers crossed that we don't have any streaming issues this morning, because yesterday it was like I was just getting into the meat of it. We're talking about timing and Secret Service and all the other stuff, and how they their schedule works with the aircraft, and we were talking about the Reach aircraft, and then poof, off my screen went, and I had some weird OBS failure, which OBS has never failed on me. It's always been the YouTube stuff that's done it. And so this time it was actually my streaming stuff. So, all right, without further ado, let's intro the Biden video. And I'm going to talk to it first, and we'll watch it. I'm going to stop it and pause it, and I want to point out some things. So when this thing starts at about the 10 to 12 second mark, I want you to look at his hands and watch the mics at the bottom of the screen, okay? And you're going to notice that his hands go through the mics and are out in front of it, and that the mic is up under, it's just it's not under, it's through it. So that, my friends, is a CGI. And so I'm going to show you that when you see it, you're going to be like, oh my, and then we'll talk to it and talk about it. There's some other points. There's about 5 other things on there I want to show you, because it's a red flag for me. And I don't know, I don't know. It's all an illusion, I guess. But here we go. All right. So one of you guys are asking before we hit that about the B-52s from yesterday. I think they just RTB'd and went right, returned to base. So I didn't see them exfil out of the U.S. They looked to me like they just flew some stuff down south in a 4-ship and then went back. So, all right. Without further ado, the Biden video. Okay. Now watch his hands at the bottom of the screen here. Mics. Lucky Mike.
Not at the moment.
And did you see it go behind his hands? It's pretty crazy. Now, I want to point out a few things. I'm going to back this up, all right, just a little bit. Now, I'm assuming you guys, can you hear the noise on that video? I'm assuming you can, because my media source is showing it. Now, notice, if you would, to the right of his hands, this stuff is it almost looks like a fuzz around that microphone. That's because that's CGI, okay? It is, it's a horrible job, and it looked like it's patchwork, okay? And now, the other thing too is, notice what he is wearing. His attire, he's wearing a thin summer suit, okay? And so it's because it's, I'll just point that out. He's wearing a thin summer suit, and I want you to realize that he is basically, yeah, we're going to talk to security detail in a second, but now look at the suits and the coats, and the guys are wearing head socks out there, and just look at what everybody else is wearing versus what he's wearing. Okay, all right, so here we go. We're going to continue on to play that. See his hands in front of the mic? It's incredible. Now he's stepping in. Now that mic's got that fuzz around it, and you just notice it's got kind of like this Vaseline look around the outer edges of the mic, and that's because they're using a screen, and you can't get rid of that in some cases because of the colors and the color palette without doing some serious work. Now look at the hats, jackets, and there's no Marine standing at the door, Marine 1. Normally there are Marines standing right there, and so there is no Marine standing at that, so that aircraft is parked. And so now look at the security detail. Right, I'm going to back this up just a little bit. Notice the jackets these guys are wearing, but I also want to point out how sloppy these guys look for a Secret Service. Secret Service are one of the most squared away guys. I mean, they are high and tight. And so now look at these guys. They look scruffy. They don't look like true U.S. Secret Service guys. Okay, they stand out out of a crowd, okay, because they are, if you knew the training those guys go through and the background that they have and the pedigree that they have, they are like the cream of the crop. You don't get a bunch of sloppy dudes in there unless they're just old retired guys, but if they are, they're not working the presidential detail. You know, they're doing all the other legwork around it, but the guys that are guarding the president are usually top notch. Okay, now watch these security guys as we bring this in. See how that guy just looked kind of sloppy? All right, now they're going to back out again in a second. I got it on loop. All right, now here's the other thing I wanted to point out. Notice this SUV back here in the background, right? That SUV right there has got racks on the top. There's no presidential seal on the side, but notice it looks like a dated SUV. Now I want to show you something. This is the Biden, so this is the SUV that we're talking about. It's got luggage racks on the top, okay? Notice the luggage racks. So if we go back to that video, you're going to see the luggage racks on the top. Now, in November 2020, they came out with new SUVs, and they don't have that luggage rack. They've got this increased dome on the top of it that's like another layer of security. It's a completely different model, okay? Now you go back to his video and you look at that SUV back there, you can see on the very top the luggage racks. That is the old model pre-November 2020, okay? And so just something is not right. So I'll go through it and I'm going to not talk, but watch your hands on the mic and then notice security detail and notice there is no guard or Marine standing at the door, okay? So his hands went right through the microphones. Okay. This is all CGI. These guys are, now, I'm not saying by any means he's not the president of the United States. What I'm saying is they are using CGI and other things to try to appear. I think they don't have any confidence in him being around the media, and so they're having to do these things because he is not, I don't think he has the cognizance to do long-term stuff. He can't take fielded questions because he's just bubbling. I seriously, it just, something is definitely up. But oh, and the other piece too, hang on, I want to back this up 1 second before we go to this. Check out the car in the background. See the green fence, that tennis fence netting that's over here on the background on the horizon behind him. Note that car back there. I don't know what year that car is, but that looks like, it's like an old, like, I can't tell, Mazda M3 or something, but what is that doing back here in the back shot? It just seems very, very strange, okay? All right, so that was one of the things I wanted to point out. I was trying to post it last night from my mobile phone, and Patreon just wouldn't jive with the software because I think the size of the file I was trying to post and the fact that it was a video, and you're kind of limited when it comes to putting that kind of, like, from your phone. The app doesn't work well with that. It's really PC based is a lot better. So okay, so you saw the jackets, Totally different seasonal wear. Those guys, everybody's wearing these heavy, thick jackets, and he's out there in this summer suit, right? So something doesn't add up, okay? Now, let me show you something else that I was looking at. If you go over to Air Force One on the White House webpage, right? What does it say right here? It says Air Force One is one of the most recognizable symbols of the presidency, spawning countless references not just in American culture, but across the world. It's emblazoned with the words United States of America, the American flag, and the seal of the President of the United States. And it is an undeniable presence wherever it flies, okay? Folks, if you're on Air Force One, you are going to be sporting Air Force One. It's call sign. You're the president. That's the most powerful position in the world. And the fact that every time he gets on it, it says NA, not applicable, there is something up with that. Now, like I said, I don't know that he's getting his briefings. I don't know that he can even obtain a security clearance based on all the stuff that came out before he got in there. But something stinks to high heaven here, and I don't know what it is. We'll eventually flush it out, but I think the best way to do it is just every time a detail comes in front of us, let's just analyze the data and make educated decisions. You know, I'm not going to go down conspiracy theory lane. I'm just going to try to keep it, hold and maintain what we've got. And when they throw data in front of us, let's just look at it verbatim, digest it, figure out what we're looking at, and eventually you can't hide this kind of thing for that long. And so it'll come out. I'm pretty confident, though, the reason we're seeing the CGI stuff is because he just doesn't have the mental capacity to tee up a bunch of crazy questions from media. And so they're having to go through and just do wag the dog stuff, right? I mean, that's evident because he's not traveling anywhere, internationally. He's not going around seeing global leaders. He's not, which most presidents do. He's really staying off of Air Force One. I think also what we could be seeing is that's the media and the press is on Air Force One, and he may not even be on there. And thus, there's no Air Force One. So that could be another theory, but we'll find out here soon enough. So, okay. Well, all right, let's get into just what we got going on in the skies. Again, this isn't going to be a crazy long one, but just wanted to pop that up. All right, so over the last week, one of the things, actually last 2 weeks, one of the things I've been noticing a pretty large influx, British aircraft and French aircraft, which tells me we either have some foreign military sales stuff going on, plausible, not uncommon, or we've got some NATO things going on. Now, this one seems to be coming out of Charleston, which is the same. That's right. This is where we had all the activity. We had stuff going down to Guantanamo Bay, etc. And so this is going to be the British. That's going to be your high wing, so you guys can see it. This is their, when I talk about an A400, that's the British A400. It's basically a cargo aircraft. And so, but you put troops on there and you can pick up stuff and bring it back. So not uncommon for them to come over to the U.S. and to pick up things and take them back, right? They buy a lot of equipment from us. People all around the world do. So you'll see aircraft coming into our country from UAE, Qatar, Japan, Egypt. They all come into the United States and do stuff. They do training here with us. So there's a lot of stuff going on with those aircraft. So, but what we've been watching on a regular stint was coming into Fort Hood. And I haven't seen anything yet today, but it's been happening for about 2 weeks now, pretty regularly. So we'll continue to watch those and see if we get any more of them. But all right, let me get over here to my sideboard and see what we have. Fair amount of C-17s up. We do have a looking glass that's up right now. And let's see, I'm not seeing it on my screen. It's on here somewhere. But let me back out and see. That's the problem. When you get all this congestion and you click on an airplane, sometimes it's hard to find it. So, oh, here it is. It's down coming out of Tampa. So just getting airborne. So that right there is going to be your, that's an airborne command center, and that coordinates with ballistic missile programs and stuff, mainly submarine things. So, but that's called Looking Glass, and that is very similar to the Night Watch that we see pop up, although it's a different it's a newer platform, but it's also coordinating with the subs and things like that. So it's got kind of a different command level. Okay. All right. It does coordinate with it, but looks like we've got some tankers. These are 3 ship of tankers now. I'm trying to see what is back here. Okay, so it looks like we have 2 KC-135s and a 767. And these guys right here are disappearing off my screen. All right. Oh, they're moving. So yeah, we got a lot of air refueling going on here again in the United States, which tells me we have a lot of fighter presence. All right, so you see that blue line right there? That's an air refueling track. And so these folks are just flying along this track. So fighters will come right in behind them and other aircraft, and they'll basically gas and go, okay? And so based on the color of the aircraft, they are sitting at around 20. Let me just click on one, I'll tell you, 21,000. So it looks like the smooth air today is around 22,000 feet, okay? Typically, they're in that range up to about 25,000 feet, but you can see they're in between a patch. You've got some weather on both sides of them. So they will not be, they typically don't hook up and fly through clouds, because that boom it'll take an airplane out of the sky in a heartbeat. As you guys have seen the air refueling videos, it is super duper touchy. And we've had instances in the past where those KC-135s, let me show you, I'll kind of zoom in on this one here because we've got a good picture of one, but this air refueling boom right here in the back, okay, there's a boomer, as they call him. He sits in the back here looking at the aircraft, right, and he'll drop that boom down, and then it's got another little, like a bee stinger nozzle that comes out. And so he'll lock it down, or pretty much lock it down, right? And the fighter will come right up behind him, and then once that fighter's within range, he'll throw that little bee stinger thing out and basically penetrate the refueling door on that fighter. Now, they've had it where they've hit turbulence in those, and that boom has gone through the cockpit canopies, and so it's pretty crazy, pretty dangerous actually. When I was back in the Air Force many moons ago, we were actually hooked up to a KC-10 doing air refueling, and we were in a B-52 and actually had commercial traffic buzz us and miss us by about 400 feet. But both of our planes shook, and it happened so fast that we wouldn't have known what hit us, but it would have been insane. Can you imagine a commercial airliner coming crossways and hitting a refueler and a B-52? That would have been a huge mess. So, but it's pretty crazy. It's gotten a lot better these days than it used to be. Their technology has helped a lot. So, all right, let me turn off these. Okay, so let's get down here into the panhandle. So this is all going to be trainers. So we got quite a few up. P8s, another P8. So this one's headed out here. So we'll watch. I'm going to come back to it in just a second. Here's a P3 that's just taken off. So it looks like we have a handful that are just getting up and at it. So again, it's only 10:53 in the morning. So we'll continue to watch them and see. Let's get over here to the UK real fast while I've got you guys on. I want to just take a look and see if we've got anything happening. These little B350s, pull that up real fast. So these are US-based stuff. They're coming out of like probably Bogota, Colombia, and that kind of thing. So I'm going to start looking again at the Magma Birds, by the way. I want to see what our Spec Ops guys are doing, and just out of curiosity, what we've got if we're continuing on. So, all right. So looks like we have, I've got persistence on, so I won't lose anything. Got some Eurofighters up. I see some AWACS, which is the E3 Sentries. Airborne air traffic control is up. But let's get over here. So over Turkey, we've got that is a British C-17. Looks like that's coming out of the UK. My guess, looking at the altitude, that dude is up there, 35,000 feet. He could come into Cyprus, or he could come into Qatar in that area. Little G5. Actually, that is not a G. Well, okay. All right, here's one for you. You'll see a little G5. This is off of Israel. Now, that right there is, the other day we were looking at these special aircraft that are basically surveillance and electronic suite, spy planes. Okay, so that's what we caught them again. So here they are. This is off of that's Jerusalem right here. All right, so this plane is out flying, doing search stuff. Okay, and note the picture over here. So that's definitely, it's an F-16, and there you go. So Israeli F-16. So they'll do that every once in a while. They'll throw a different picture in there for the aircraft. It's kind of a joke. So anyway, but that's going to be one of your little Gulfstream spy planes that's up there doing their work, and that is 39,000 feet. So he's up pretty good altitude. And another A400, which is coming out of Spain, looks like it's headed to Cyprus area. So the fact that we are, I say Cyprus, is that Cyprus? I mean, yeah, that's Cyprus. Okay, I'm making sure. Sorry, little monkey geography there. I'm like, man, make sure I'm calling it the right thing. Remember, Syria right here is heating up like this place is hotter than a junkie spoon right now. And so this is, watch Damascus, and this place up here is already, Aleppo has already been just completely leveled. But Damascus down here, that is a location. I think what's going to happen is, according to the Bible, Isaiah 17, we will wake up one day and that place will be overnight completely leveled. And I think what happens is Iran and Turkey and Russia are going to be continue to set up shop here in Syria. And they're going to get a little too close with something, and they'll probably have nukes or something in here, and Israel is going to just take it out, and they're not going to be messing around. So, all right, another tanker out here. And let me get in here a little closer to the Middle East piece here. Another tanker, that's going to be U.S. tanker. So we've been watching these tankers out in this area for weeks now. So it looks like we are operating in and out of Kuwait and doing that. C-130 is also just took off. One just landed, and we've got some H-60 presence down there as well. So, all right, down here over Qatar, that's going to be an Italian little citation, little Cessna citation. Looks like that one is coming out of Bahrain and landing in Qatar. And then we got a little BE-20, which is a little beach aircraft. So, all right. So that is, let me zoom in a little closer. The UK is, man, mercy. Look at all the helos up in the UK. This is crazy. So they must be, there's a couple V-22 Ospreys in here. So H-64, that's a gunship. So that is a lot of activity. These are all gunships right here, right? These two, H-64. So for those, that's an Apache, basically. It's an awesome aircraft, basically. 4 of them. Looks like we've got 4 Apaches up, and then this is a little trainer. And so let me see, a little C-17 on the ground, a couple H-47 Chinooks out here, and then a whole bunch of these little EH-10s. I don't know. I think these are trainers. That's one of your heavies. That's kind of like our H-53. Big, so that's a big bird. If you look at it closely, we'll kind of zoom in on it. That's a beast right there. That thing is heavy lift. So, but that's very similar to our Sea Stallions, that kind of thing. Okay, like a HH-53, Jolly Green Giant, that kind of stuff. So my screen is locking up on me here. A couple of those are trainers right there. Lynx, those are all trainers. That's H-47. That's a Chinook, and so. Looks like they've got a lot of training activity now. They are in this air refueling area right here. So helos will air refuel. I'll show you guys. We'll do a video on that one day too. And then this is all trainers right here, EC-35s. This is going to be all training. So the Brits are pretty busy on the helo side today, and that's not even with the helo filter. That's a lot of helicopters. So, and quite a few these are Eurofighters over here. You guys can see I've got 4 Eurofighters that are up. And so for those not familiar with the Eurofighter, that's kind of like their variant of an F-16 kind of deal. It's been around a while, but that's a pretty big aircraft for them. They fly a lot of those. So also, I think it's referred to as the Typhoon. Okay. All right. Let me get back to the U.S. So that is where we are. I think we're pretty good. I see we're still streaming. Everything's good. So it's a Festivus miracle. So let's double check. I'm going to pop out. We'll look at this again here in a second, and then over at the P8s, P3s, we'll look at the U2. I'm just going to pop out here to Hawaii and the Pacific. Now, we do have our Secretary of State and Defense and a bunch of folks out here in Japan right now, and I think in Korea. So that's not unusual. Looks like we got a little fighter that's popped up coming out of Bangladesh, and some Reach aircraft that's coming out of Japan. So kind of quiet on that side. Of course, it is across the date line, so it's a totally different day over there. And all right, so let's zoom in real fast. I want to see what this U2 is doing. We were talking about the Dragon Lady. Sorry, my screen is bouncing everywhere. All right, so it looks like he's just cruising down over California, and he's headed back northbound, and he's descending. So he's at 38,000 feet. So we'll see. These things, like I said, they're cameras. Sometimes they go up and they'll do weather stuff and all kinds of different things. So there's no telling what he is up to. You'll see him also he'll start doing these grid patterns, search patterns. And so I don't know what they're doing, but definitely. And then we got a couple, looks like DC-10 air refuelers going on here. Yeah, 2 DC-10s. And so, all right. That's a KC-10, and the other's a DC-10. Okay. All right, and those are air refuelers is what we're looking at there. Okay. All right, back over here to Florida Panhandle. Let's see. I say the Panhandle. Let's see what we got here. Got a couple C-130s flying through. I just saw one of them had an F-18. So remember we were showing how they'll throw different pictures in, and so that's certainly not a C-130. So got a little F-18 in the picture for a C-130. So I don't know, these people make it hard on us sometimes. But there is another P-8 right there. Looks like that thing is just doing touch and goes, but came out of Jack's Naval Air Station. And let's get down here. So here's our other P-8. All right, so he headed out, and now he's headed southbound. And I would imagine he's going to start running some search patterns. It's interesting to see how far down he goes. And let's see if he continues. So, all right. So you're talking about the 4 B-52s yesterday that we had on the screen when we were doing a little live cast there. I think they just returned to base. They are not. I haven't seen them exit the U.S. We got another one up right now. Matter of fact, just took off. And let's see. I think that's coming out of Ellsworth Air Force Base. I'm just trying to see South Dakota. So yeah, that one just got airborne, and so he's at about 25,000 feet. Looks like he's leveling off, and so we'll see where he goes. And I don't know, we may get 3 more or more, that follow in behind him. So we'll keep our eye on it. But it looks like they're just doing some routine stuff over the U.S. And so got a little Canadian C-17. Looks like that one's just headed northbound. And then we've got another Reach aircraft. It looks like that one is coming from across the drink. Yeah, so that one's just returning back to the U.S. So, okay, I will be on. So today is Wednesday, so I may pop on later today. I've got to do some legwork for my video for this weekend for the Watchman Hour. And so I've got to get ready for that show, and I've got to pull together all the videos. So I'm going to be working on that this afternoon. It is a spring break for me, so I've got a week of a little bit of reprieve and not having to write any papers. So it's a great opportunity to get kind of caught up and do all the fun stuff that I never get to do during the week. So, okay, so that's it. You guys, I appreciate your time, and hope everybody stays safe out there. And as things continue to evolve, we will continue to monitor, and if anything changes, I'll be back on to let you know. So that's it. You guys have a blessed day, and I will see you on the flip side. God bless. Monkey out.